Hello, this is Renee Moore, and this is my presentation on being a community organizer at Washington Area Bicyclists Association, helping Washington, D.C. to reach its Vision Zero plan by 2024. In this presentation, I'm going to present 7 ideas on what I would do to implement the plan in Washington, D.C. The first thing that I would do is to collect and analyze data on how bicyclists and pedestrians and drivers use the streets of Washington, D.C. This is important to know because if bicyclists are not educated about how to navigate around pedestrians and vice versa, and drivers aren't educated on how to interact with bicyclists, we automatically set up a situation where no one on the street knows exactly what to do when they come in contact with each other. So a big part of this is going to be who's in those neighborhoods, what type of lanes do they have, what type of sidewalks are there, how do people use those sidewalks, how do people use those streets, how much traffic goes up and down those streets. By collecting this data and much more from places such as DDOT and the Department of Transportation, from AARP, from AAA, we can now look at that data and see how do people move in Washington, D.C. so that we can make it safer for them to be pedestrians and cyclists and drivers in our city. The second step would be to find leaders in each of the different neighborhoods who can take on the role to engage the citizens of that community. A couple of ways I would do that is one, through block parties. This is a great way to get to know the neighbors that you probably haven't met yet, and neighbors that maybe you've just been too busy to meet because of demands of work or school. So block parties are an awesome way to get to know your community and to get to know the people in it. In addition to that, I would also host health fairs because making sure that people are walking and biking and that we present a walkable and bikeable city becomes part of a big public health concern. And the more that we can provide safe bike lanes, safe sidewalks, and safer streets, of course, that increases our public health. So I would start with doing block parties and health fairs, and from there, I can talk to people about what Vision Zero is. I can find out who some of the leaders are in the neighborhood, and then tap into the resources that are in those neighborhoods to lift up leaders who can then take on the mission, the larger mission of Vision Zero. Once we've determined who those leaders are going to be through the health fairs, through meetings and workshops, and through the block parties, we then need to start connecting and educating the public through social media. I would use social media in a variety of ways. One, I would use Facebook to create groups for the different neighborhoods so that they can communicate with each other or tap into groups that are already existent so that people have an opportunity to be educated about what Vision Zero is, to ask questions, and of course to put an input because it's their neighborhood and they live in it. I would use YouTube in order to educate the public about what Vision Zero is overall so that we can send those messages out to not just the community but to those who are visiting from all over the world so that they understand how to move about through the streets of Washington, D.C. safely. I would use Instagram with the public so that they can take pictures. Most everyone has a phone on them at all times, a smartphone on them, and they can take pictures of what is happening in their neighborhood, what makes their neighborhood awesome. So I would do contests to show what makes the neighborhood awesome, reward those people, and also do photos where they can show us, hey, this is where we need some improvement. We see that people bike this area a lot, but they don't have a bike lane. Or we see that people walk this area a lot, but the sidewalk just abruptly ends and they have to go into the street and then negotiate traffic with the cars. So this is where we'd like to see some improvements. And by seeing those pictures all around the different parts of our city, we can then begin to implement a plan to make sure that we get those things taken care of. The next step I would do is to educate our youth. Now, educating and engaging our youth can be done in a variety of ways. First, because every student in Washington, D.C. has to have 100 hours of community service in order to graduate, I would make this part of their community service project to come in and to help us implement what do they think we can do in order to make the streets of D.C. safer for pedestrians, for cyclists, and for drivers. kids in the area, this can be their opportunity to look at becoming an urban planner, to look at working for a place such as Department of Transportation. For architecture, it can be for art, it can even be for math as they figure out, hey, if we make a bike lane, how much of the street are we taking away from parking or from cars? And they can start doing math that way. And this can be a great way to implement a lot of different subjects into this project that can help them to also reach their community service goals. For the younger students in junior high and elementary school, this could be a great art project, it could be a great math project, and I would do it as a contest, and then we would give a reward to students in each of the different quadrants, or maybe just one overall one for the student in all of the schools who does the best project to help us make Vision Zero a reality. You always have to give praise and rewards, and this will be my next step. When you're volunteering for a big project like this and you may not be seeing progress as fast as you'd like to, making sure that you give praise and reward to those volunteers who are helping to make this happen is really important for keeping the momentum and keeping them engaged, especially when you're engaging families and especially when you're engaging youth. You have to do something that makes them say, yes, you are doing a great job and we want you to continue doing it. Rewards don't have to be a lot. They could be very minimum. It could be things that come from local businesses. It could be something as simple as you get a discount on something in a store. It could be tickets to a movie theater in the area, maybe gift certificates to a grocery store, but something that encourages them to keep moving and to participate in shopping and using the local businesses in their neighborhoods. Finally, we want to cross promote local businesses. One of the ways to get people on board with this is to tap into the local businesses in the neighborhoods. When businesses realize that they can actually get more traffic through foot traffic of pedestrians and through bicyclists, even more so than they do through cars, that then they can begin to participate in helping Vision Zero to become a reality. One of the things I've noticed in my research is that a lot of business owners haven't really recognized that. There are a lot who have, but there's some who have not realized what they're missing out on when they live in a neighborhood where the parking is very congested, where it's very expensive, that this is where you need to tap into people who walk and people who bike and having them come in. That we're more likely to stop into your business if I'm on a bike or walking because I don't have to worry about parking. So rewarding those people who do come in that way. There may be a discount for them. There may be special bike parking for them. There may be something that they can do, a loyalty program that's just for those people who come in on foot or on bike to make sure that they start using their streets differently. And also, when you have people that do that, those people who walk or bike there are more likely to recognize how that street is being used. And they can also give a lot of feedback to the leaders in those communities to say, hey, we need a bike lane here. We need more bike parking here. This corner is really tough to turn. Maybe we need speed bumps here because people go very fast when we're going down the street, or people are making right turns and they're not paying attention to the pedestrians that are crossing. All of those things are things that people see when they're on foot and on bike that they may not necessarily recognize when they're in a car. So getting those local businesses involved, cross promoting them through the communities, through other businesses, and letting people know that they are part of Vision Zero is going to be an important part of making sure that Vision Zero comes to fruition in 2024. Last but not least, want to make sure that we keep in touch with those community leaders. Nothing worse than putting people in this volunteer position and then sort of dropping them off and not knowing what's going on and not letting the community know where they are in the process of this, because it does take time and we want to make sure that they don't get weary while they're working. So keeping in touch with them through social media, keeping in touch with them through meet and greets, or a block party where we can definitely talk about those things that are happening, what the progress is, celebrating those progresses when they happen, no matter how small or how big, letting people know that yes, things are moving along. A monthly newsletter that educates people on where we are, what needs to be done, and asking for volunteers and asking for leaders to step up So keeping in touch with the community and the community leaders is extremely important in making sure that everyone has the tools they need in order to educate others about Vision Zero, that they have the tools they need to educate themselves about Vision Zero, and that they have what they need in order to stay safe when they're out walking, driving, or biking in the streets of Washington, D.C. So that is my plan that I would put together, my preliminary plan for what I would put together as the community organizer at WABA. My name is Renee Moore. You can reach me at the email address listed there, which is reneeymore@gmail.com, or my phone number, 240-604-3575. Thanks. I look forward to hearing from you and interviewing very soon. Have a great day.